Now, since we've got our unit set up titled assignments and we've got our unit content items labeled assignment number 1 and assignment number 2, it's time to actually set up our gradebook and add these assignments to the gradebook and assign point values to them. How you find the gradebook is by going to the toolbar in the upper right hand corner and clicking gradebook. Now, if we follow this to the left here, we'll see that the default view is view gradebook. You see a sample right here, and the reason for that is because there's no students enrolled in this course. I'll show you a course later with students actually enrolled in it. But your gradebook is going to look a little bit different. It's going to have a list of all your students, and you're going to have the ability to enter their account and either enter grades or just check on where they're at with their overall grade standing. The button to the right here is user activity. If you click on that, you can see how many times your students are logging in and what items they're actually looking at. What we want to do today is click on the Setup Gradebook button. And that's going to take us to another page here with several tabs across the top. You see current setup is where we're at right now. There's add new items, select gradable items, assign points and weights, and preferences. Now the nice thing about eCompanion is that it'll take you through the process step by step so that you don't miss anything along the way. And it does that by adding these nice little buttons here that'll take you from one step to the next. If we click on Add New Item to Gradebook, now we see that we've moved to the tab called Add New Items. It's the next step in the process. eCompanion is also relatively intuitive as to what you want to put in your gradebook, and you'll see right here we've got assignment number 1 and number 2 already checked. So when these are checked, it means you're adding this item to the gradebook. You may have more assignments in here and other various things that you want to grade. Just look through these lists, both here and here, and make sure there's a check mark next to everything that you want to add to your gradebook. We'll see two buttons here. One is Save Changes. If you click that, it will save your changes, but it'll leave you right on this page. Now, if you click the next button, it'll save your changes and bring you to the next tab, which we see up here as Select Gradable Items. Now, we'll see that we have assignment number 1 and assignment number 2 listed here. And if we follow those to the right, we'll see another checkbox here. And what we're doing here is selecting gradable items. So since both of these items have check marks next to them, it means that we can assign a point value to them. If you have assignments that you want students to do where you're not going to be grading them, just make sure this box is unchecked and they can do those assignments without it affecting their overall grade. And just as a side note here, you see the number 1 above these check boxes here. All that means is that these assignments are located in unit number 1. Now you may have 10 or 15 separate units, and when that happens you'll see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way through to 15 listed alongside the number 1 here. Each assignment will have a checkbox corresponding to the unit that it's in. So since we're in unit 1, both checkboxes correspond to unit 1. But if I have an assignment in Unit 5 and it's titled Assignment 12, then down here we'll see the number 5 and there'll be a checkbox for Assignment 12 down here. And again, we're selecting the gradable items and we do want both of these assignments to be graded. So we'll click the next button and it saves our changes. And it brings us to Assign Points and Weights, which is the next step in the process. Now you'll see on the left side we have assignment number 1 and assignment number 2 again, and they're both listed under unit 1. And this may be a little hard to see, but there is a text box right here where you can put in your point value for each assignment. So whether that's 100 points, 50 points, or in our case 10 points, you just type the point value in there. And we'll give each assignment a value of 10 points, and then we'll save changes. And you'll see there's no next button here because the next step in the process would be to set our preferences, and I'll show you that real quickly. There's only 2 options under preferences, and the default option, which is already checked, is use points and calculations. So if you're just going to assign point values to your assignments and you want it to calculate an overall numerical grade, just leave it as is. If you do want to use weighted calculations, you can click this button here. I'm not going to show you anything about that because I actually don't promote the use of weighted calculations. It gets a lot more complicated, it's cumbersome, and the system has a little bit of a hard time handling it when you add and subtract assignments. So we'll just leave it as is. If you are fine with using simply points, just leave this be and you never have to use the preferences at all. So now we've got our gradebook set up, and in our next video I'm going to show you a course with people actually enrolled in it so that you can see what an actual gradebook looks like. And I'll show you how to input grades.